Have you ever struggled to find the perfect hook for an in-game heist? Are you at a loss for creating a believable and terrifying monster? Is it hard to balance your storytelling instincts with player agency? Welcome to the Mightier Pen, where I share narrative tips for the story-driven DM. Because while the pen can be mightier than the sword, it only becomes so with training. I'm Kate, an editor by trade, a writer by hobby, and a DM by default. Before we jump into the premise of the show, let me share a little bit about myself. I was, and still am, if I'm honest, a voracious reader, an avid scholar, a theater kid, an overimaginative writer, and a major nerd. All in all, the perfect candidate for D&D. But despite all that, I've only recently gotten to the game. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons, 5th edition specifically, for about 6 years now. In the last year and a half, I've started running my own campaign as a dungeon master, as well as a few one-shots before that, and I absolutely love it. But it does come with its fair share of challenges. I've always considered myself to be a creative and curious person. If I were a D&D character, I'd probably be some sort of bard wizard multi-class. On the one hand, I'm rarely at a loss for ideas when it comes to planning sessions, or if I am, I'm not for long, but more on that later. On the other hand, I have to remind myself very often that the game isn't only my story. It belongs to the players just as much as it does to me. So that's why I decided to create the Mightier Pen, a place to share a writer's perspective on being a dungeon master. I'll share my tips, tricks, thoughts, and even troubles because I certainly don't have all the answers. My approach to creating and running a D&D game is always narratively focused, story first. So if you're looking for help on more of the mechanical aspects, this might not be for you, though I will still talk about the technical side of things. But if you're looking to streamline your prep, create rich stories your players can invest in, and have great discussions about the joys and challenges of being a DM, then I invite you to join me as I set pen to paper to tell a new story. For now, I'm going to do so in 4 different series. Stories from my table will be exactly what it sounds like. Anecdotes of the campaign I'm running, a behind-the-scenes look at how I prep, and specific challenges I face, and the ways I've tried, and sometimes failed, to overcome them. Outside experience will pull from other people who DM, whether by exploring stories that other people tell, finding discussions to chime in on, or sharing what I love about and have learned from other, generally professional DMs. The final 2 series are sort of intertwined. One of my college professors often told us, there are no new stories. He meant it as a warning of sorts. Everyone is inspired by the media they consume, intentionally or not, so be sure you're making your story unique enough to be distinct from the things that inspire you. Personally, I think he also meant it as a bit of an ego check. None of us were going to come up with any earth-shattering, mind-blowing works of such startling newness that would dazzle the world and earn us millions of dollars, no matter how much we like to dream we would. It's always served as an odd source of comfort for me as a creator, taking some of the pressure off my process. I know there are no new stories, so I don't feel bad about intentionally taking bits and pieces of other people's creations as inspiration for my own work. The first 2 novels I completed were fairy tale retellings, so I'm no stranger to adapting established creative works into something new. That was a long tangent, but all this is to say that the last 2 series I'm planning to start are about stealing from other places for your D&D game. Stealing from fiction will explore movies, literature, art, and other works of fiction to see what storylines and ideas you can fold into your game. Stealing from history will delve into the even stranger world of real life, looking back on actual incidents from the past to see how politics, wars, and other events played out, and how they and historical figures can be adapted into your fictional world. As I mentioned earlier, I don't pretend to have all the answers, and I know what works for one person won't necessarily work for another. More than anything, I'd love for this to be a place of conversation where other DMs can share their own experiences and advice. There is no better way to learn than from each other. So I hope you'll join me as we sharpen our greatest weapon, our words. Once again, I'm Kate, and this is the Mightier Pen. Keep honing those storytelling skills, and may your next tale be your best one yet.